Yes, it's just like as we said before, that times run very fast. Times run very fast, and especially during this period, like the way Apostle Paul said, that in the last days perilous times will come, and people will experience different challenges, both economically, spiritually, and even politically, as we can see politically. Politics today, the way it is being done, it is not the way politics was being, you know, played during those olden days in the history books. Today, politics, it's so much, you know, engulfed with a lot of dirtiness and a lot of funny things, and majorly with funny interests, not just pure interests that will benefit the society, but funny interests that are actually not even human anymore. But anyway, putting that one aside, today I had a lesson. I have a lesson today for the unmarried men, those men who are not married, or those men who are newly married. I have an advice for you. I have an advice for you. There is always a notion that some people think that when getting into marriage, yeah, there are some of the things that you need to do, or there are things you need to do for you to be able to, you know, satisfy your wife or satisfy your spouse. And there is this notion, especially to the millennials or the dot-coms, yeah, they always think that one way somebody can satisfy his spouse is through maybe, you know, being a good provider, something like that, or maybe having money, enough money. You know, that is one of the notion that most people have. But I let me surprise you today. Let me surprise you today. In a marriage setup, for you to be very peaceful, especially as a man, okay, there are only two things that you need to put into consideration. Only two only, that I've learned personally, as a man, as a husband, and as a father. Okay, there are only two things. Okay, some in the world outside there, they will tell you maybe you must be, you know, eh, good in bed, something like that. But I'm telling you, that is wrong. Very wrong. That is a misadvisement. That you have to be, you know, good in bed for your wife, you know, to love you, or maybe for your marriage to settle out. There are so many Gogs and Magogs outside there. But I'm telling you, their marriages are in deep shit. Deep shit. Now, what can make your marriage stable? That is what we want to discuss today. What can you do as a man to make your marriage stable? There are only two things that I've discovered throughout my 15 years of marriage, that I've discovered, and quite unfortunate, my wife is not around. She's in the kitchen there, trying to wash some, trying to just make the kitchen look nice. I think if she had had time, she would have been here with you. But let me just take it on, this lesson for today. Next time, she will join me. One of the main factors of the two that can make your marriage happy and stable and be peaceful in marriage with your spouse is one of it is that you as a man, you must be a father. You must be a good father. That when your wife looks at you, first of all, fatherhood begins with you. That are you a good father to her? You know, it is always a tradition that during weddings, you find that it is the father that hands over the daughter to the man that is going to marry. You know, it is the father that walks the daughter in the aisle and then hands over the daughter to the bride, to the bridegroom. Do you know what exactly that one really means? Biblically, for one to marry, or for a daughter to be married, the father had to give consent. The father had to give consent. And then the father has to give consent. Everything that you do, anything that the father has never given consent, it is wrong even in the eyes of God. So when this lady has been raised by the father, she's actually seen the love of the father. You as a man, when you marry her, you have to be a father unto her. Okay? You have to be a father unto her. And being a father does not necessarily mean that you have to have money. You have to be a father unto her. You have to be somebody that she can look up to. Okay? It is quite unfortunate that some of you men, when you marry a lady, instead of being a father, prove yourself of being a father, you act like a small boy. You act like a small boy. You become even a burden to this lady. That is where now marriages become very serious. Marriages end up breaking because women or ladies are created naturally to look up to you as a man. When she was in her father's house, she was looking up to her father. And now that she's leaving her father's house, she's going to her husband's house, okay? The love that she had from her father's house, okay? The love, you must give her the love. You must give her more love than what she used to get from her father. In other words, okay, make her forget the love that the father used to give her. That is what fatherhood is. You are taking the place of his father. You are taking the place of her father. So what happens is you must be a father figure more than what his father is. But if you make her remember that this is not what my father used to do, this is not what my father used to provide for me, this is not what my father used to tell me, I'm telling you, you'll have problems. But the moment you fill the gap of the father in her life, then you're good to go. That is one of the secret, guys, that if you take somebody's daughter, make sure you fill the shoes where the father was wearing. Fill those shoes in her life. That is one of the biggest secret that in today's generation, a lot of young men do not know. A lot of young men don't know. They think that you have to behave like the way soap operas or Hollywood portray things. No. This is actually scriptural. It is very sacred. You are entering into an institution whereby God himself is a witness of those institutions. So what happens? One secret, remember, when you're taking somebody's daughter, make sure you fit into the shoes of his father. In other words, win her for you. Replace her love, the love that the father used to give her. That is the love that you need to replenish. Feel it, so that when she sees you, she sees her father in you. That is point number one. Point number two, my dear young men and women, especially those who are prospecting to get spouses. Point number two, if you want your marriage to be very, very peaceful and without any problems, point number two is that you should be willing to answer questions. Be willing to answer questions. Even if there are some of the questions they don't make sense to you. There could be some other things she'll ask you and you feel like, no, this is out of topic. But you know what? You have to answer it. Even if it is out of topic. Make sure you are ready to answer questions. Because that is where, remember when she was in her home, that is how she was raised. That is how she will ask questions to the father. And the father will always answer, irrespective of how nonsense or stupid the question may look like. But you don't show her that this is a stupid question. No. You prepare to answer questions. That when you answer questions, then she will be looking up to you in everything. Okay? She will be looking up to you in everything. But remember, if you don't answer questions, if you are not willing to answer questions, somebody else will answer those questions for her. And you know what? She will build that trust. Any lady that can find somebody who is willing to answer questions and show affection, that she really understands what she's going through, you know what happens? Those guys can do anything to those ladies. So one thing, guys, you should be ready to answer questions. And that is how women actually find confidence in men. Because if they find a man who will be a father figure, if they find a man who is willing to answer her questions, then she has no problem at all. Money is secondary. Money is secondary. Living a posh life is secondary. But these two secrets hangs all the law and all the happiness in marriage. And it is quite unfortunate most people don't know this. Quite unfortunate most people don't have these secrets. But if you do that, if you become a father figure, in other words, fitting into his father's shoe, if you can be able to answer questions, then you will have no problems in your family, in your marriage life. You will have no problem in your marriage life. Some people say it's about money. No, sometimes you'll find these daughters, these ladies who are raised with their parents don't have all that much. But they were raised in a very happy family. They didn't have all that much. But she was happy in that family. She was very, very happy. You found her very healthy. And in fact, that is where you notice that she was beautiful. No? She came from a background that didn't have all that much money. And then you think your money will be able actually to help her do everything and all that stuff. No. All they need is just affection. Be a father figure and be ready to answer questions for them. The other thing is that you'll find sometimes you'll find men sit there and they say, this man's marriage is having problems because he's not doing, or the guy who is having problems in his marriage, he's not doing what is required of him in his marriage. Some people say, oh, this man is not good in bed. Oh, this man is not romantic. That is why his marriage is having problems. No. There are people who are not even romantic. There are people who are so much poor in bed. But their marriage is so solid. Their marriage is very solidified because of these two aspects. The wife respects her so much because of these two aspects. One, because she's filled his father's shoes. He's filled her father's shoes. Okay? He's filled her father's shoes. That if she has any questions, even if she's wrong somewhere, she will remember, this is the person that can answer my questions. This is the person that actually loves me the way my father used to love me. He has unconditional love on me. You know, in my weaknesses, he understands those weaknesses. That is the secret that makes love, that makes marriages last. But in today's century, in today's generation, is there anything like that? Is there anything like that? People are so much addicted with money. Everybody is just focused on money, and that is why marriages do not last. My brothers, please make sure that these are the two things that you need to do. Be a father figure. Stop piercing your ears. Some people even shukering their nywelles. Men want to be women nowadays. And women also want to be men. Now, how will those marriages be? How will those marriages be? So it is high time men have to be men. You have to be a man. And women will definitely be women when they realize men are becoming men. Okay? Otherwise, thank you very much. I hope what we've shared has enlightened your mind. Please don't forget to subscribe there. This is a channel, Talk to Brother Gabriel. And thank you very much. Shalom. God bless you. Have a beautiful Sunday. Thank you very much. Thank you.